What I'm going to talk about today is the state of sustainability in our sectors. Once they can get the slides upside down. It's quite interesting how when we first started our journey, we kind of thought we are, probably, there you go. I think what comes to mind of most people when they talk of sustainability, climate change is planes and cars and ships. But actually we realize that our industry, fashion industry, is right up there in the top 5 polluting industries. And that has been the start of the realization of the impact. And that's very important because awareness is probably the biggest obstacle to achieving sustainability, because people are not aware, companies are not aware, CEOs are not aware. And I think that's where we thought that once one understands what you can measure, what is your impact, only then can you manage it. Some more stats which are quite sobering. 120 billion new garments are made every year for 8 billion people. And remember, there's probably 5-6 billion people only have one pair of clothes. So imagine the number of clothes being built. 30% are worn only once. 1 truckload of fashion is going into landfill every second. This is a global figure. And by 2035, it will go to 3 truckloads every second. Less than 1% recycled. But what's interesting is there is more than $500 billion of value that is lost and that exists in that waste. Some more interesting things, we all talk about plastic bottles. I'm glad to see reusable, I'm sure after the process, the glass bottles on your tables. But 50 billion plastic bottles worth of microplastics goes in the oceans every year just from the washing of clothes and textiles that the world does. 50 billion bottles. So almost 7-8 bottles for each human being is being dumped into the oceans every single year, just not from the plastic bottles, but from the microplastics from cleaning the clothes. Shoes are another very complex thing. It's a complex assembly of so many different materials. It's one of the hardest things to recycle. So US throws 300 million pairs of shoes for 350 million people. I think UAE is even higher as a percentage of, as a multiplier of the population. So 25 million pairs UAE dumps every year. Fast furniture, because we are in that industry as well, 20 million tons of landfills. But we all get lost when we talk billions, millions. So we did the math, if you put all the waste that is dumped every year of fast furniture, the likes what you buy from IKEA and Home Center and Homebox and all, every 6 months we can go to the moon and come back. That's 239,000 miles. That much waste is being generated. In our lifetimes, we will wipe out the Amazon forest equivalent just from fast furniture. So clearly this whole one-way street of just keep producing, keep extracting resources and throwing them is not sustainable. There is clearly an insatiable thirst of fashion industry. 3,000 liters go in producing one t-shirt and 8,000 liters in one pair of jeans. Imagine that's like 14 years of drinking needs for one human being. And I'm sure you all have just said, I don't like this design now, I'm going to throw it off a t-shirt or jeans or whatever. And how long it takes, all these waste that goes in, it's like a range. I mean, cotton is few weeks to few months, wool is 5 years, shoes take 25 to 80 years to decompose. polyester 20 to 200 years, and spandex, which I'm sure all of you have on you right now in some shape or form, we don't know because it's never decomposed yet. It's, it's too new to understand how it will decompose. So clearly a big, big problem. So what are we doing? We built a sustainability framework with a lot of research and thinking, and it's exhaustive, holistic, starts at the top left, sustainable products, then sustainable operations, and then sustainable customer journeys. And then you get the full life cycle of how, how people engage with us and what is the impact of our industry and our company. So we have done life cycle analysis on over 15,000 product types. And with that, we've got pinpoint details, accuracy of where is the footprint. And lo and behold, scope 1, 2, and 3, in 3 is 86%, which is mainly your product, and then what happens to the product, the raw materials, it's made, and then what happens after use. We actually have published our annual report on sustainability, numbers audited by KPMG, scope 1, 2, and 3 audited by KPMG. Very pleased because not with the impact, it's horrendous, but we know we are ahead in managing that impact. Here's a short video. It gives you the scale of things that a company needs to do, like ours, or what we are attempting to do to go completely net zero. A lot of claims have been made, but when you go through all what it takes, it should give you a little more sense. As you can see, it's lots of initiatives across our entire value chain. Responsible sourcing is probably the biggest one with over 10,000 suppliers. We've got third-party auditing, one of the best auditors around the globe, with 3,500 auditors, making sure entire ESG frameworks, all the principles are being adhered to. Energy, you saw, logistics. We also have the whole Take Back program. We're working with several of the government bodies to really push this hard. There's hardly much of this happening in UAE. It's still a put everything in the waste kind of a society and country, and it has to evolve. You saw in the video as well, we've put up our own recycling facility because there isn't any around here. And very few brands globally have done it because we want to make sure we take the full responsibility of what we are doing, what we are putting out in the market. So we take the old clothes. We encourage you to go to our stores and put your old clothes, any brands, in these take-back boxes. They're then sorted by material, color, and then converted into fiber. Fiber is shipped back to Asia, and then slowly is being reintroduced into new products. And that's very challenging, but we are making good progress. The impact of this factory, when you look at the numbers, it starts to, this small factory, 14 billion liters of water, which is 5,600 Olympic-sized swimming pools, can be saved if we are able to process, which we are now. So 2,000 tons of textile waste is being neutralized, or call it put back into new products. We've got a lot of numbers, a lot of systems, technology. I'm sure there are providers coming here, but I'm not going to go through the details, but it gives us huge insights into where is the footprint to help us in our journey in really going neutral between 2040 and 2050. So that's our journey. Hope it gives you insights in your own companies or your clients on how to embark on that journey. I think I must say this is a business transformation. It's not some side department being told just run this. Each buyer, each designer of products is involved, is gradually making that journey because they have a P&L to protect. They have numbers to deliver and a quality and the look, feel of a product to be given to the customers. But the more we see how the younger generations are becoming a lot more aware, I think we feel that we are well ahead. We've been rated as one of the most sustainable set of brands, even by the Saudi Fashion Commission. But we are the only value brand in that mix. All the others are super high luxury brands who obviously have thousands of % of margin to play around with. But for a value brand, it's extremely challenging. There is no headroom in doing the right thing. But once you believe that that's the only way a brand should be, if you're a large brand, we are the leaders in all the markets. So I don't think we have a choice, and we don't believe. So there is no regulation that is driving this. Neither there is any investor pressure because we are a 100% privately owned company. But I think very proud that our brands are all committed, and we've been driving this for some time now, and we hope to, help be leading this not for ourselves but for the whole industry at large. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rajesh, for that session. We actually do find ourselves with a bit more time, if you would be happy to take questions from the audience. Fantastic. Do we have anyone with any questions? There in the middle? Great.
Hi, good afternoon. Well, first of all, thank you so much for an amazing presentation. As a manufacturing organization, you talked about engaging with your suppliers. We would love to learn more about, how do you go further into tier 1 suppliers versus tier 2 suppliers? And do you have like a supplier code of conduct? So it'd be just interesting to learn more about that. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. No, it's a great question, and that is the biggest challenge. We've taken the approach of taking the suppliers along with us. We have a lot of tier 2, tier 3 suppliers. What we find is the upstream, like the large ones making the textiles, a lot of them are actually way ahead because a lot of their customers are the big, large companies in US and Europe, and they are all demanding that. So with that, there's not a problem. But the tier 2, you're absolutely right. It's a big challenge, but we've taken them along. We've given them time to come along to, not, for example, we told them that if you don't recycle the entire water to remove all the dyes, we will stop buying from them. But we gave them time. We worked with them on how to do it. We brought them expertise. We've signed the zero discharge of hazardous chemicals. So there is a twice a year audit of all their effluents. But eventually, if some suppliers have just not been able to come along, we've had to shut them down. So Splash has literally half of its supplier base has changed over the last 4-5 years if they were not able to come along with it. And now we've got the third-party auditing. We've got a system where we are recording all their certificates, all their the whole program. It's a lot of work, but it's coming along. But I think if you partner with them, it works. It's not a very draconian kind of a cutoff, but eventually it becomes a cutoff if they're not, because we wouldn't like. I think most brands think they are buying responsibly sourced raw materials and products, and you'll be surprised that it's not the case. So that's where we at least should get what we think we are getting and then move along with it.
So, good initiatives, I think, really important that fashion becomes sustainable. So, here one of the point that I have is, have you committed to, let's say, something like SBTI to commit to a net zero plan or a better cotton initiative? I did not saw that because, those put pressure on you as well when you are doing a lot of initiatives, because that also aligns management. I understand a lot of these initiatives would require a lot of management approval, ROI approvals, and all those things. So if you can briefly elaborate on that.
It was there in the video. We are the largest, and we were the first signatories to BCI. We sit on the advisory committee. So well before anyone else did it, so we are right there. But does it mean we are only committed on BCI? No, we are waiting whenever a better version or a different.
Yeah, so SBTI.
We have signed for SBTI. We were the first ones to sign that. So we are looking at whatever is the right regulation. But I must tell you, we don't do things for regulation. We have found whatever. So for example, 100% of our financing, which runs into billions, is green financing. 100%. We were the first ones. Every single bank in the region, in every country in GCC has, in our industry or our type of thing, we were the first ones. Standard Chartered Bank, Emirates NBD, HSBC, Mashreq Bank, all of them signed with us first. And that is our tiny internal pressure, because as you know, green financing comes with KPIs which are measured, audited. So we've got that in place. Any other?
Yeah, hello. My name is Jag. I'm over this side, Rajesh. Onto
Okay,
your
sorry.
left, sorry. Hi.
Sorry, yeah.
Hi, I'm the energy lead for Abu Dhabi Airports. It's a great strategy that you presented. It's quite commendable. One thing I just wanted to ask, as part of your strategy, are you considering being carbon negative for your business?
Well, I think we've got to get to zero first. So it's a long haul. And as you see, we can't do it alone. So if the countries we are operating in don't convert all their energy to renewable, we can't do it. So we are very much reliant on the ecosystem. Until the entire shipping converts to green ethanol, we won't be able to. But I can tell you, we are the first ones to sign up. We are working with Maersk, with DHL. We signed up. Our entire air freight, 1% of that is going towards sustainable aviation fuel. So as the ecosystem arrives, we are always the first ones to sign up. But if the ecosystem doesn't come, then I'm not going to be able to change the energy in GCC or change every shipping company. So that's why for us to say negative is a bit of a challenge, and I think it's better to at least have an honest going to net zero. I mean, I've not met many companies who have got their scope 3 audited by a big 4. So making claims is easy, but to deliver the bottom line performance, top line growth, and have audited all your green credentials is, I think, it's a good place to be in. Yes.
Hi, Yannis Panos. I'm following the work you're doing as part of Landmark for a few years now, especially when you announced it's going to be the first textile recycle company in the UAE. And I've seen that also you produce an ecosystem, but most importantly, you are a CFO, apart from CSO. I would like to understand how you see it from financial perspective, if sustainability is profitable, other than the better interest rates from green banking.
Yeah. So you're saying how we see
Yes.
From a financial perspective.
Finance perspective, yeah.
See, I think it's, as I said, is a lack of awareness in the world. If people your customers are aware of what's happening by using your products, whatever they might be, if you're a leading brand, they will desert you, or they should desert you if you have poor practices, right? So, I mean, so it's as simple as that. I think it's just the gap in understanding. So if you're a leading company, you have to challenge how long can you lead if you have a pretty poor record of how you're dealing with, obviously, all across all the 3 ESG principles, right?
So basically, you see it as a correlation to revenue more than a direct investment.
So, yeah, I see 86% of Arab youth say that they will shun a brand which is not responsible. That's great. It's as high as other parts of the world. Is it converting at the till, at the shopping till? Not yet. It's gradually happening. I think what will happen is it's table stakes, that unless you're a responsible brand, they will not even consider you. So I don't think we are there yet, that just because you're sustainable, you'll be able to sell more. Probably not. You have to be the best product, best design, best fit, best price, and it's a given that you are very responsibly organized and the materials that are coming are responsible. So I think it's that journey. Yes, we do get this question from a lot of our CEOs, but the more we help them understand the impact, it becomes like there is no choice. We cannot damage at this scale. If we are going to be producing so much product, right? I mean, we were using 5,000 tons of plastic shopping bags across our company. And it's now down to like almost a minuscule amount because we are switching to paper in most cases or renewable stuff. And oh, by the way, by charging, there's a drop. You charge 10 fills, 25 fills, 50 fills, people drop. So the bag consumption is less than half now by charging. So it's not for the money, but to drive the habit. So I think it's these tiny changes across where, yes, I would say we are very careful. All our initiatives are so far positive. We are not, and that's the challenge of being a CFO and CSO. Okay. Yes.
Hi, I've been to the recycling facility and it's very impressive.
Thank you.
What the whole team and the setup, very clean, very well maintained, segregated. Yeah, so I was really very happy to be there, and seeing this presentation was adding more information to what I already gathered from there. So my question is around mass production. Fashion is today sort of flagged for the 92 million tons of waste that's created in the industry every year. How do you see that as a big corporate in fashion industry? How do you manage this concept of mass production internally? And like, I also have a brand, like what can I learn from you to sort of use those techniques?
No, so you're talking about mass production or waste management?
So the way I think is, when there is mass production, obviously it adds to the waste that's coming out of it. So if we can control at the production level, we produce only what's
needed.
Needed, yeah. That's the utopian lifestyle. But let's say if we are able to use all the AI, data, etc., to produce only what's actually needed, is that possible today? And as a company, how are you handling your production volume? Thank you.
See, clearly, we, not purely for sustainability, but we have been on a journey of reducing our inventories, which has a huge benefit, as you can imagine, right? And I would say we've reduced by over 20% in the last 2 years, right? At the other end is managing the obsolescence. So the obsolescence rate is a huge area to attack. By just halving it, we would again shave off a couple of percentage points of excessive production, right? Now that requires a juggling between how much you order, when you order, some air shipments, which in some ways may negate the the green benefits, but I think overall we've done the math. It's still better to have your last 10% fly in rather than ordering so much or so little, right? But coming to, I think overall, see, this facility we've put up is not going to solve the whole UAE's textile circularity challenge. UAE generates 240,000 tons of textile waste. But we are working with the Ministry of Economy, we're working with the UAE Circular Economy Council, who actually inaugurated the factory. This was a showcase. It still is a showcase to spur industry, government, all of big B2B customers to start thinking of circularity. So 40 to 50% of UAE's population wears a uniform, by the way, which was complete news. I thought it would be like 20-30%. So we are working to help formulate. There has to be some regulation. If the waste management is not done properly, if there is no incentive to the way some other countries have done, like extended producer responsibility, where a brand is responsible for the entire waste that it's generating, one way or the other. So I think UAE and even Saudi, for example, they are working on regulations which should really help solve this. It's a very small step we've taken, but it's had a huge impact in terms of the conversations we're having with large users of textile, like the big delivery companies, the big oil companies, the gas stations. Everyone wears a uniform. So while the customer part will happen when all of you gradually, people, youngsters realize what's happening, but the B2B part is also very big.